Hello everyone. In this presentation, I'm responding to a short counseling session where Peter is counseling Alana, a 55-year-old aunt who has taken custody of her niece and nephew after the sudden and significant family loss. Alana is worried about Sarah, who is 16. Sarah's behavior has shifted sharply. She's slamming doors. She's yelling at her, saying, "You're not my mom," and conflicted around friends and parties. Noah is completely opposite, with clinginess and tearfulness. Across the next few slides, I'll do four things. First, I'll give you a broad overview of adolescent development, drawing on contemporary development literature and evidence-based practice. Second, I'll identify three developmental theories that are especially relevant to Sarah's presentation. And third, I'll choose one of those theories that Peter could hold lightly and use as a guiding lens and explain why. Finally, I will finish with a practical take-home message for you emerging counselors heading off to placement. Broad overview of adolescent development. Adolescence is widely understood as the developmental window with unique tasks and vulnerabilities, shaped by biological maturity, cognitive growth, changing and social roles. Current research also emphasizes that adolescence is not just a bridge from childhood to adulthood. It can be viewed as an extended period with shifting expectations and responsibilities. One of these major developmental tasks is identity formation. Working out who I am, where do I belong, and what matters to me is a driving force. We see identity development both as a systematic maturation and also highly sensitive to the context in life events. The second core feature is the growing influence of peers. Belonging and fitting in becomes a major driving factor. This is in direct conflict of the caregivers that has risen the adolescents with negotiated autonomy and boundaries. Importantly, peer influence is not only bad, it can be a strength-based pathway to competence, belonging, and resilience. The third domain is developmental and emotional regulation and coping. Evidence-based reviews show that adolescents learning how to manage big affect, especially under stress. Reviews show coping emotion and regulations are meaningful to internalizing and externalizing symptoms. And these skills are still developing during adolescence. Finally, there's risk-taking. It's explained as a dual process modes. Rewarding sensitivity tends to surge in adolescence, while cognitive control develops more gradually. This matters because the risk behavior is often opened in a hot social context like parties, peer pressure, and conflict, where emotional rewards cues are high. Three developmental theories relevant to Sarah, age 16. Based on the transcripts, three developmental theories stand out as particularly relevant to Sarah's behavior. The first one is identity development. Sarah is 16. She's navigating questions of her independence, belonging, and identity. Now in the context of a major disruption, a sudden loss of both parents, in shifting to her aunt's house, identity researchers suggest that life events in relationship contexts are meaningful and shape how identity exploration and commitment unfold. Second is the dual mode system. Helps explain why Sarah may pursue peer connection in novelty like parties while showing intense reactivity. Third is the third is a peer influence lens. It's directly related to Sarah because she describing as wanting friends, being online with friends, and escalating conflict where peer access is restrictive. Highlights that peer influence involved both selection and social uh, holding it lightly means Peter doesn't diagnose Sarah as identity confused. Instead, he can use this lens to ask better questions. What is Sarah trying to protect? Why is she trying to? What is she trying to build? And where is she seeking to belong and control after such a major loss? My rationale for choosing this theory. My rationale has three parts: behavior mapping, grief context, and caregiving environment. First, behavior mapping. Sarah's "you're not my mom" slamming door and prioritizing friends can be understood as identity and autonomy negotiation. In identity development terms, the adolescent is actively working out who has authority over me now and where do I belong. That work can look messy, especially when adolescence feels powerless. Second, grief and emotional load. Sarah's identity work is happening under the weight of a sudden loss of both parents. Big grief can intensify emotional reactivity and strain emotional outcomes within children and adolescents, which matters in we see angry outbursts and withdrawal from the caregiver. And importantly, grief supports can reduce anxiety, depression outcomes of young people, which suggests that grief-informed care is not just nice, but clinically relevant. Third, caregiving environment and parenting approach. Her aunt describes a strict family of origin model and wonders if she has been too strict compared with Sarah's mother. Research at scale indicates that parenting dimensions such as warmth, behavioral control, psychological control show different associations with externalizing behaviors. This does not mean that our aunt caused this, but but it supports Peter exploring the balance of firm boundaries with rational warmth, autonomy, and support. The conclusion and take-home message. My take-home message is developmental theories help you normalize without minimizing. In practice, that means you can say some boundaries testing and peer focus is common at 16 while asking what grief has done to her system, stress has done to her system, her trust, and her need for control. The goal is not to excuse harm, but to understand function. If translated into the counseling moves where Peter could use with her aunt, support Alana to maintain a clear, safety baseline, for example, around alcohol, while shifting control to collaboration where possible. Encouraging repair, focused connections, like reintroduction of shared activities Sarah previously enjoyed, because peer belonging is essential, but the caregiver connection is still matters. Helping Alana respond to escalation by naming emotions and returning to the conversation when calm, rather than matching the intensity. This aligns with what we know about emotional regulation in development adolescents. Keep in mind that risk often rises in hot contexts, peer presence, parties, and conflicts. So strategy should anticipate those contexts, not only address them after the fact. Practically stance is hold theory lightly, hold relationship firmly, and hold safety consistently. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you. Bye.